This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google IVPanda Free Essays.
Introduction. Qualitative research refers to an inquiry method used in various academic disciplines. Traditionally, it was more common in social sciences, market research, and other contexts. Qualitative researchers focus on acquiring an in-depth comprehension of human behavior and what aggravates such behavior. It is imperative to note that the qualitative method assesses the how and why in decision-making and when, where, and what. Hence, smaller focused samples are standard rather than monumental samples to fulfill this objective. Trustworthiness, dependability, or credibility is a central concern. In quantitative studies, validity is the term used to refer to the same. Various methods can be used to establish the validity in quantitative studies. These include balance, bracketing, confirmability, audibility, negative case analysis, prolonged engagement, peer debriefing, interviewer corroboration, and member check. This paper aims to explore triangulation, member checking, and structural coherence as measures of ensuring validity in studies. Moreover, a study analysis assesses the measures taken to ensure validity. Methods of ensuring credibility. Triangulation. Triangulation is a potent tool for ensuring research quality, principally credibility. The underlying idea in triangulation is the convergence of multiple perspectives for data's mutual confirmation to safeguard the investigation of a phenomenon's aspects. Triangulated data sources are analyzed against one another so as to cross-check interpretation and data. It is worth noting that the criterion of offering several varying data slices reduces distortion due to a biased researcher or single source of data. This is particularly true when dealing with single client interviews and data with distinct, one-measure applications. Consequently, readers and researchers should address how the triangulation resulted in the approval of various aspects of the study or the completeness in regard to addressing the phenomenon of interest. There are several types of triangulation. Data methods triangulation is the most common, where there is a comparison of data gathered using various methods. The second triangulation, data sources triangulation, increases the data range, which might assist in comprehending the concept altogether. It relies on the significance of variety in person conducting the interview or observation, space, and time. For instance, triangulation sources include various days or seasons, groupings of people, and settings. Theoretical triangulation implies that competing or diverse theories' ideas can be assessed. Lastly, investigators' triangulation is familiar in study cases where there is a research team. Often, team members use diverse approaches. Member checking. Credibility in qualitative research is the informant's ability to identify their research findings' experiences. With member checking, conclusions, interpretations, analytic categories, and researchers' data are consistently tested with the informants. Keeping the research materials open to informants guarantees that the researchers have included the viewpoint of the informants accurately. According to Freeman et al., assessing the sensibility of data reduces the chances of misrepresentation. Member checking can be accomplished through interweaving the informant's contact hours. This allows for the comparison of information from an interview with a different informant prior to a subsequent interview, together with the first. Moreover, summarized tape interviews may be played so as to gather the informant's responses. Moreover, there can be extremely formalized work sessions where several informants gather and give their feedback on a result report or an analytical code draft. A final or terminal member check, together with the principal informant, is necessary towards the end of the study. This allows testing of the general interpretation and safeguards that the data's final presentation is an accurate reflection of the experience. Weir et al. Argue that member checking is more straightforward when done during a research's earlier stages as opposed to the latter stages. Identifying informants for the final member check is extremely grave. Irrespective of the significance of member checking to ensure credibility, the ethical aspect of the strategy is extremely vital. Structural coherence. The validity of an argument can be ensured through establishing its structural coherence. Therefore, the researcher ensures the absence of unexplained inconsistencies between data and its interpretations. Irrespective of the fact that there may be data conflicts, credibility escalates if the interpretation elaborates on the apparent contradictions. It is extremely noteworthy that deviant cases and rival explanations are accounted for. Structural coherence depends on the manner in which a researcher integrates the immense loosely connected data masses into a holistic, logical picture in the report. Supporting a claim in a study and reporting the validity of study results. Physical activity in pregnancy, a qualitative study of the beliefs of overweight and obese pregnant women. To ensure the validity of the study, in-depth and semi-structured interviews were conducted, and their results were compared. After conducting interviews, they were cross-checked with other informants, and recorded summarized reports were listened to by informants to gather their responses. Moreover, the study's limitations were identified and elaborated on. The interpretation explained the apparent contradictions. The choice of the member checker in the study was keenly selective so as to ensure that he was unharmed after reading and handling the data. Furthermore, this ensured that he did not internalize the data, which would interfere with subsequent responses. If you want to find more works like this research paper on triangulation, member check, structural coherence, head over to ivpanda.com. It has a collection of free samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects. No registration required to access it.